Hi, this is Danielle. Today I'm going to go over some common Mac issues and how I would troubleshoot those issues. So the first thing I want to talk about is the hardware side of Mac. So Macs, the newer Macs are actually soldered together to where you can't open them, you can't pull out the back. But on an older Mac, I'm going to show you on my older MacBook Air, you would be able to unscrew along, as you can see, along the sides here, and maybe upgrade the memory, that sort of thing. That's how you would do it. The biggest hardware issue that I like to make my users aware of is what I would call a swollen internal battery. And what that looks like is, I will show you, just lower my mic a little bit, is as you can see here, if I needed to open a program, I would just click, and you can hear the click. If my internal battery was swollen, one indication would be on my trackpad. I would be able to just tap, tap, and it would open, or tap, and it would act the same as a click. So I also want to talk about what to do if a user comes to me and says, my Mac's running slow. So in that case, there's a few things we can do. There's a few command line tools that I like to use. So let's go to Spotlight and pull up Terminal. Now the first one that I like to use, I'm going to wait for that to start up, is I like to echo Y. And what this does is it produces a lot of Ys, but what it's doing is it's running the CPU at full capacity. And this is a great tool to use if you encounter a Mac that just keeps crashing. The second tool that I'd like to show is let's just close this, the file usage tool. So for that, we're going to use the sudo function, which is a very powerful and dangerous command. So it's going to prompt me for my password in a moment. There's my password. After I put in my password the first time using sudo, it will not ask me again when I use it for other commands. So as you can see here, you have a stream of processes, and this is a great tool if you encounter, for example, a drive that just won't eject. Like maybe this one, if it just would not eject, you can figure out what's going on in here. So let's stop this process. And the next thing that I want to go over is how to test your network connectivity in Terminal. So to do that, you would use the ping command, and you can use any website, and that's going to give you a list of packets, and hopefully we have good connectivity. All right, looks like we've got good connectivity. All right, we're connected. So moving right along, so to find out if there's any available updates, you can always go to System, under the Apple icon, right under System Preferences. You can look right here and see if there's any updates. But another way to look is through the terminal using, again, let me just go here, the sudo command. And then I'm going to use the list function to get a list of the updates. And that takes a bit of time to run, so while that's running, I want to go over to other updates that are very important. So I'm going to go to System Preferences and pull that up. And I want to go over the Flash update and the Java update specifically. So with Flash, I always recommend just automatically updating, set it to auto update. That way you don't have to worry about that or run into any problems with applications that need the Flash plugin. With Java, I want to bring two issues to a user's attention with the Java update. Again, Java, it's a simple prompt that you go through to update your Java. However, when you update Java, Java is notorious for adding the checked checkbox with the Yahoo, for example, the Yahoo browser. So if you don't pay attention and be careful, you can change your browser settings, which can be reverted back quite easily. So watch out for that. Another thing I want to bring to your attention under security, well, first let me show you what update looks like. So as you can see, I'm all up to date. If I were not up to date, I would go through the process here under the update tab. Under security, I want to go over site exceptions and how to add that. So if you need to add a website as a security site exception, you would go here, edit site list, add the website. You can remove the website. That's how you would take care of that. So going back, it looks like I am eligible for some updates, and I'm not going to take care of that right now. So let's say that I'm working and it's morning and I have my Starbucks and everything's good, and then I accidentally spill some coffee on my laptop, but I have the terminal command open. One thing that I can do to shut down my Mac fairly quickly and minimize damage is this sudo shutdown function. So in order to do that, sudo function now. And of course, I am not going to do that because that would end this recording, so won't give a full demonstration there. Lastly, in the command line, we'll go over the history, which is a really cool command that shows everything that I've ever done, and it's great for reviewing those commands that you need to brush up on. Now I want to go over to our disk utility, which is under applications in our utilities folder. And here is disk utility. And I want to go over how to format an external drive. So I have my external drive here, and I am going to erase my drive. And here's a few options. I recommend journaled, Mac OS extended journaled, and I also recommend exFAT. exFAT is great if you have like a flash drive that you want to swap around with users who use like Windows 10, because you can read the files in both the OS X or Mac operating system and the Windows operating system. So I'm going to go ahead and select Mac journaled, and then I am going to go into my security options. If you have a drive that's not named, you could name it at this point, but this one I'm going to keep the name FlashMob, and go into the security options. So the difference between fastest and most secure. Most secure, you're going to have 7 passes. Fastest, you could have 0 or 1. So let's set it at 1 and press OK. And then we're going to erase. It's going to ask me one more time, and estimated time 2 minutes, and that's that. So that concludes my presentation on some advanced Mac issues and functionality.